following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Welcome to the John Cohen Show, Mississippi State Baseball 2014. And although this is our first show of the year, we're about halfway through the baseball season, 2 series deep in the Southeastern Conference. And, Coach, before we talk about SEC play, and we'll take a look at some highlights from early activity, but this is a season that we had a homestand, took an Arizona trip, and got to conference play. Probably with not quite the record that we wanted, but certainly this is a ball club that's a new ball club with some veteran players, and it takes a while to put all that together, doesn't it?
Well, I agree with you, Jim. We're not exactly where we want to be, although I would say the last 3 weeks we've been playing pretty good baseball, probably since we've gotten home from Arizona. Taking 2 out of 3 from Georgia, and of course this weekend against Vanderbilt. We've started 6 different outfielders. We've had a whole bunch of guys that we worked out on the mound, and we started 3 different catchers. So we really tried to find our identity, and I think now we're pretty settled in who we are as a club, and I think we're playing pretty good baseball.
Mississippi State, of course, started the season, a preseason top 10 type ball club, right now about 15th on a consensus in the country as they get ready to play a weekend series, and we'll talk more about Arkansas later in the show. They'll be the opponent this weekend. But the thing that you have done, I know going in, you talked about catching, shortstop, corner outfielders, pitching rotation. You had a lot of things that you had to get settled in.
We did. I think we lost 2 of the premier players, not only in the league, but in the entire country. Losing Adam and Hunter were 2 big losses for us. But again, we've been able to piece together those positions. The catching position was something that was big. We had 2 senior catchers that we lost. We started the season without a catcher who had ever caught a Division I game. So I think we moved forward in all those positions, and I think our leadership guys have stepped forward. And what really matters, Jim, you know this. I mean, what really matters is what happens on the weekends, and what really matters is what happens at the end of the year in tournament play. But you got to get there, and you have to play well enough during the year to be able to earn that right to play in the postseason. And I feel like we're playing very good baseball right now.
Mississippi State this past weekend took 2 out of 3 from the Vanderbilt Commodores, opening week of the Southeastern Conference schedule. Went on the road, won 2 out of 3 in Athens, Georgia. We're going to talk about the start of the SEC season. We'll take a look at some Vanderbilt highlights. But right now, we'll take a timeout on the John Cohen Show.
Plenty of people start out waiting tables, but not many spend their days off making beauty videos. Even fewer become famous for them. And now, instead of living off tips, I'm giving them to the whole world. I'm Michelle Phan, and I'm one of a kind.
Everybody, it's great to have you with us here at Davis Wade Stadium on the campus of Mississippi State University. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here at Ballot.
At Sullivan's Office Supply, we've been selling quality office products and furniture in our area since 1959. We offer many brands and styles of office furniture. With free AutoCAD design, we help you decide the best arrangement for the function and then apply various price ranges and styles of furniture to fit that function. Let our experienced people at Sullivan's work with you to get you the best possible answer.
You like working with us because we work with you. Sullivan's.
Mississippi State opened Southeastern Conference play on the road, played in Athens, Georgia, played the Georgia Bulldogs. This is always, when you've got some new factors on your ball club and some guys in positions that maybe weren't there last year, going on the road first in the conference is a bit of a challenge, but Bulldogs handle it pretty well. Not a great Friday night, but a great Saturday.
We did not play well on the Friday night, Jim, but obviously I think the big part of that weekend, it was really Ross Mitchell's first start in conference play, and Ross is somebody that we're really going to depend on throughout the 10 weeks of the regular season in league play. It was his second start of his career, and he really just kind of put our team on our shoulders, pitched very, very well, and of course, followed up by Trevor Fitz, who pitched outstanding for us. So, I think that was a big weekend for us heading into the Vanderbilt weekend, and thought we defended well, we scored enough, and anytime, just like Coach Polk used to say, anytime you go on the road and you take 2 out of 3, it's a pretty successful weekend.
So the Bulldogs start conference play on that road in Athens, took 2 out of 3, and what turned out to be a Saturday doubleheader, won both ends of the doubleheader and played extremely well. And that gets you into week 2 of the conference series, playing a Vanderbilt team that was basically a consensus top 10 type of ball club, picked high in the conference, and here we are in the opening. Jake Vickerson, you've had him in the leadoff spot. He starts off well in that ball game.
I think it was important for us to get off to a great start versus Beatty, Jim, who everybody's saying is a top 10 pick overall. He and Detz got us off to a great start with line drives. And, one thing we did off Beatty is we just kept putting balls in play with 2 strikes, and we forced issues with our runners. There's, example of Pirtle. And again, a little bit of good fortune right here on a breaking ball that allows us to score from third base.
Bulldogs able to put together a 4-run first inning. Here's a ball. Randolph just puts it in play, and Beatty is unable to make the play, and the Bulldogs get another run.
It's crucial, Jim. Just putting balls in play against a guy with a great arm like Beatty and making him make plays is really important. And then situationally, getting balls to the middle of the field, we're probably going to score a run there anyway, but it caroms off the glove of the second baseman. Making players make plays in college is really important for your offense.
So Jets put it in play, and Vickerson scored on that. Here's a double by Seth Heck, who has been really a nice surprise, I guess, for this ball.
He has. What a consistent player, all the way from Olympia, Washington. Somebody who has just done a great job for our ball club at shortstop and offensively. We put on a safety right here with a runner on third base. Again, what a great bunt on a breaking ball, very good breaking ball. And Armstrong stays on it and executes it for us.
And here's Wes Ray, and that was a big hit in the ball game. It sort of capped off a good inning.
It was. That ball looked like it came off his barrel 120 miles an hour, Jim. When he hits the fastball the other way, he's so strong, he can really make a difference.
We'll get Wes Ray scoring on the ball in the dirt.
Yeah, there's 2 outs and 2 strikes, Jim, and that's what we want. We work on that ball in the dirt, 2 outs, 2 strikes, and even a guy 6'5", 270 can score on that.
And there you saw Preston Brown with one of his strikeouts. Boy, he was solid, wasn't he?
He was. It was his first SEC start. I think his heart was pumping a little bit early on, but really settled in and pitched well with that tremendous sink and really commanded the baseball well.
Bulldogs, a season-high 17 runs. You see the 14 hits, a 3-hit ball game for Brett Pirtle. Wes Ray, who leads the ball club in runs batted in, has a couple in that ball game, the big 2-run single that we saw. And Brown is now 3-0 on the year and has gone 8 innings in each of his last 2 starts.
He has. Very consistent. And again, it's strike throwing. Gino, I just want to mention the unbelievable crowds we had this weekend. Of course, Ross Mitchell is going to start game 2, but it's just unbelievable the atmosphere we had in the ballpark.
And there's Ross making a play early, feels his position well.
Yeah, I thought Ross did a great job of just commanding the strike zone and forcing swings. Again, this is situational baseball right here. A runner on third, less than 2, and Armstrong is going to move a runner for us. Very important in our ballpark to be able to capitalize on those situations.
Sacrifice fly there in the 2nd inning. Bulldogs get on the board with an early run in the ball game.
Again, Seth Heck, who was our player of the week, Jim, in our program, just unbelievable job against Vanderbilt. Really, for the last 2.5, 3 weeks, after taking over the shortstop position, has swung it well, has defended well, and been a great leader for us.
Just 2 errors and about 100 chances. He's really played a good, solid shortstop. I think in the midweek game had 6 chances. And there's Ross Mitchell, and he can do more than just pitch.
He can. He's a great athlete, and he's somebody coming off a little bit of a hip surgery that he had earlier in the year, and getting off the mound, defending his position. And again, doing a great job of the strike zone is just critical, and Armstrong has done a great job for us as well.
Mississippi State with the lead, and Jonathan Holder in the ball game.
that high fastball, Jim, you've seen it over and over again. It's so hard because the hitter's sitting on that breaking ball, and he comes at you with that 90-92 right over the top. Again, situational baseball right here with Pirtle, run on third, less than two. I think we did a great job most of the weekend capitalizing on those opportunities.
Jacob Robson comes in to score, and now Jonathan Holder goes back to work here in the ninth inning.
Yeah, he's getting ground balls. His down playing fastball is effective. His breaking ball is effective. I think Jonathan Holder right now is throwing the ball as well as he ever has, and boy, we need him right now as we get deep into conference play.
So the Bulldogs pick up game 2, a 6-3 victory in the ball game over the Vanderbilt Commodores. As again, as you mentioned, Heck has a big hit in the ball game. Pirtle drove in a run with a sac fly and has a hit. Detz with a couple of hits, and boy, 2 starts in the conference. Ross Mitchell looks like an SEC starter.
He does, and he's been there, Jim. He's pitched in really some of the most important baseball games of the year. In Omaha and in regionals. And now, it's his turn to give us starts, and I think he's done a tremendous job with that.
So Mississippi State takes the first 2 of the weekend, and now Trevor Fitz is back on the mound, getting another Sunday start. And boy, that was a nice-looking breaking ball. I thought Trevor pitched awfully well.
He sure did, Jim. He might have pitched as well as any of our starters this weekend, and we just didn't support him with run support. But, I thought we swung the bat well, but we hit some balls hard right at people. And again, Trevor just pitched in and out of the strike zone, and right here did a great job fielding his position as well.
This ball game was scoreless after 6 innings. It was just a total pitching duel, and you see another good fastball, froze the hitter and gets the out, and it looked as if this was going to go right. Bulldogs had a little bit of problem defensively late, and that has not been this ball club.
No, it hadn't, and this is, we made a little error right there. Although that's a good bunt, we should have, we were thinking possible pitch out there and did not. This ball's just clobbered right here. We're going to score a run, but, we hit, Jim, on our well hit chart, we had 21 well hits in the game and only scored 1 run. We had a hit and run where we hit a bullet right at a third baseman. The shortstop in the very first inning off the bat of Pirtle makes an unbelievable play over his shoulder. That's going to score another run. So it just didn't happen for us on Sunday.
5-1 final, and Vanderbilt takes the final game of the series, and Mississippi State wins 2 out of 3, and the Bulldog record now 4-2 in the league as they finished up a couple of SEC series. And Coach, I think that most teams would tell you, and if you look at it, we're going to take a look around the league in a moment, but if you win 2 out of 3 in your first 2 series against the opponents we play, feel like you got off to a pretty good start.
You're right, and that having a retrospective look, and being logical about it, you're right. But when you get to Sunday, you get a chance to sweep one of the elite teams in the country in Vanderbilt, and you don't do it. It's disappointing. But I think our kids recognize that we had a nice weekend. But boy, we're just getting started, Jim, and it's a long road, and you got to keep competing every weekend.
Let's take a look at what happened around the Southeastern Conference this past week, and it was a week where there was a lot of challenges, as we've already talked about the Bulldog wins. Kentucky at home. South Carolina came in ranked number 1 in the country in some of the polls. Kentucky wins a couple. Texas A&M at home. Florida, a good ball club. Texas A&M wins 2. LSU took 2 at home, and they had one of those 13-inning, got to go home and go to the airport ties in a 2-2 game. But Georgia played LSU awfully well. Ole Miss swept Missouri. Auburn took 2 out of 3 on the road at Tennessee. Arkansas wins 2 at home against Alabama. Just your thoughts, though, on the way the early season has gone in the league.
Well, it's funny how these trends, these cycles occur. Just an example, South Carolina is one of the great teams really in the history of college baseball. They have always struggled at Kentucky for whatever reason. Of course, a lot of people struggle at South Carolina. But you look around the league and you just see the tremendous balance that the league has. I think last year there were 2 or 3 teams at the bottom who were going through some changes with their program. I don't think you're going to see that this year. I think you're going to see, even Missouri, who's off to a tough start, I think you're going to see Missouri come on because they have great arms.
And so if you look at the league standings here in the early going of the season, it's amazing. We've got 8 teams at 3-3 at the 500 mark. You've got the 3 teams, Mississippi State, Auburn, and Ole Miss, that are 4-2 atop the Western Division. LSU a half game back at 3-2-1. And then nobody above the 500 mark, but a lot of teams at 500 over on the eastern side.
Right. And you look at the West, 1 game separates 1 from 7. The league is just really good, and it's unbelievably competitive, Jim. We all know that, but that's what makes it fun to compete in this league, because you know from top to bottom it's the best league in America.
Is this a Is this a pitching league or a hitting league this year?
Well, I think if you look at the nature of scores and batting averages and all that stuff with the, all the discussion with balls and bats and everything else, there's no question that pitching and defense is kind of ruling the day. But you look at a year from now, they change the seams on the ball for our sport. Does that change things? Does the ball fly? You just don't know. But that's one of the reasons why I like our club, Jim, because I really think we can defend. I think we can pitch. I think we have some solidarity now in terms of our starters. And I think we have 2 or 3 of the best relievers in the league. So I'm excited about what can happen for us in the next 8 weeks.
And speed is important, and we have speed.
We do. Speed is critical, especially in our ballpark. Our ballpark just plays so big. It's amazing, Jim, when teams come and play us. And I remember at Kentucky and even at Florida coming to Duty Noble Field, the way our ballpark plays, ball stays in the air a long time. You got to be able to cover that outfield, and you got to be able to make plays in the infield. So those are the things I hope we can continue to do because we've done that well early.
Mississippi State with a couple of good wins in conference play as they win their first 2 series. We'll have more for you straight ahead on the John Cohen Show.
Hey Bulldog fans, visit hailstate.com for inside access to all things Bulldogs. Check out Hail State TV for live event action and plus exclusive video on demand. Take hailstate.com with you wherever you go with apps for the iPhone, iPad, and Android. Visit hailstate.com/apps today.
One more! Let's go, yo! One more! One more time! Come on! One more! Let's get it! Let's go!
Proven hydration to help replace what you sweat out.
One championship! Let's go!
Like, when I first got here, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a cakewalk.
I'm about to go get my rimming key and start unpacking. I'm so excited.
We're in the heart of the campus, at the fountain of youth.
It's so much more out there. It's so much more open-minded.
College is very, 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 very different from high school.
When we created C-Spire, we found inspiration in the same values that inspire our customers. Bold leadership, intense passion, continual growth. And as we've grown, we've never lost sight of these principles. It's why we develop our wireless, fiber optic, and business solutions with your needs in mind. To us, you're not just a customer, you're our inspiration. C-Spire, customer inspired.
This week on Inside Bulldog Baseball, we're going to talk with DeMarcus Henderson, the Bulldogs senior outfielder out of Waynesboro, Mississippi.
To me, baseball was a challenge. I mean, to me, it's a game of failure, and I think it teaches a little more about life. But at the time, that's what I loved to do, and I think I just kind of grew more into love with baseball, and then I kind of figured that I was going to be a very big guy to keep playing football. So I enjoyed it while I was in high school, but I knew baseball was the road for me. I had a few people who was like, man, you should go play football, man, you're very good. But I was just like, I'm kind of stuck towards playing baseball. And my high school coach, he knew that baseball was what I wanted to do because it was a time that I told him I wasn't going to play football my senior year. And they kind of went nuts. It was like, nah, man, you can't do that. It was like, you go, we go as a team. And I was kind of that go-to guy. So I decided to go ahead and play my senior year. I met Coach Burroughs. He's no longer here, but I met him, I think, my sophomore year somewhere. I was playing in a tournament up in Columbus. I think it was a Disney World Series. And I think throughout my whole life I had kind of been set on going to Southern Miss because that's what I seen a lot. That's what was the news area around my way, so I seen that a lot. And they were really good at the time. So I think I still had my mind set on it up until my senior year. The coach came back to see me again and was like, come in for a visit because I was up here in the tournament again. And I was just like, let me give it a shot. And, I met Coach Cohen and I met Coach Burroughs and all the rest of the coaching staff, and just some of the things they said stuck out in my mind. I know at the time they weren't playing very well, but It was just some things they said to me that kind of stuck out to me. But I think I made a good decision overall. Waynesboro is not the biggest town, and a lot of people that know me because of, you know, athletics, what I did around the community. I mean, I'm a nice guy, and I've been playing sports all my life now. Interacted with different guys around the town, and I've met a lot of different people. So getting to Kansas City was very nice. I mean, I got a nice big ovation when I came home. It's going to take a much more improvement. We still got a long ways to go as far as, you know, runs and score position or just things, the little small things we do. But I think the more we grow as a team, the better we'll be. I mean, we got a lot of veteran guys on the team that know it's going to take down the stretch. So.
Marcus Henderson, a young man who comes in as a middle infielder to Mississippi State, and he played some middle infield early, ended up in the outfield, has really adjusted well, hasn't he?
He has. He has really matured in so many ways and has become a leader on our ball club. DeMarcus Henderson is a great young man, and I think he's going to have a professional future in baseball, and I think he's going to have a great professional future outside of baseball as well. He's special, great parents, great family, and he has been part of, you know, Jim, the early days when we were trying to move this program in a good direction, and he has been rewarded in so many ways. It's just been a thrill to work with him.
And he has become very vital. He's one of those speed guys on the ball club, handles the bat well, broke the school record for sack bunts last year.
He did, and even last night against a good SEMO club, Southeast Missouri club, he got the game-winning hit, walk-off, and I was just thrilled for that to happen. That doesn't get to happen for you a whole lot in your career, no matter how good a player you are, and I've been really thrilled with his progress. Just, again, an outstanding young man. And good down the stretch as our run to the national championship ball game. Absolutely, and the regional, super regional, and in Omaha, got big hits for us, defended really well. He's done everything we've asked him. He's a team guy. Like, he supports everybody on this ball club, and it's really neat to see that unfold. His leadership skills, his personal skills. He's just, I can't say enough good things about DeMarcus Henderson. Mississippi State gets ready for another week, and it's going to be at home, and Arkansas is going to be the opponent. We're going to take a look at that on the John Cohen Show.
At Mississippi State University, our students are change agents. They are changing landscapes, changing skylines, changing environmental outcomes, changing circumstances, changing attitudes. And through change, our students become something more. Mississippi State University. Our story is changing lives.
Is more than a goal. Winning is the singular result of multiple efforts. Planning, patience, enthusiasm, skill, tenacity, and yes, even luck. And if there is one simple truth about winning, it is this. If you do not play, you cannot win. Be a player. Be a winner. Pearl River Resort.
When we created C-Spire, we found inspiration in the same values that inspire our customers. Bold leadership, intense passion, continual growth. And as we've grown, we've never lost sight of these principles. It's why we develop our wireless, fiber optic, and business solutions with your needs in mind. To us, you're not just a customer, you're our inspiration. C-Spire, customer inspired.
One more! Let's go, yo! One more! One more time, come on! One more, let's get it, let's go!
Proven hydration to help replace what you sweat out.
One championship! Let's go!
A lot of kids want to become the next big rapper. But not many think that they can do it all on their own. Even fewer turn down every major label along the way so they can create one with their best friend. We're Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, and we're one of a kind.
Mississippi State going into the third week of the Southeastern Conference schedule, and we've talked about the parity in the league. That makes every series so important, and I always like to look at the cross, the West and the East. We're still a West and East in baseball, where we're not in a lot of the other sports. But LSU at Florida this weekend, that's a good test for the LSU Tigers. And, of course, you also have the situation where Texas A&M and Georgia. It's going to be interesting to see how A&M does at Georgia. Here's a look at the games upcoming.
Yeah, I think there's some really neat matchups. And, of course, at Duty Noble, we're going to have a great Arkansas club that's very athletic. And a new club, like many of the clubs in our league right now. You know, Tennessee's really playing a lot better, Jim. What a great job they have done turning that program around. And of course, Auburn's playing really good baseball as well. So some neat stuff going on.
Yeah, Dave Serrano at Tennessee has that ball club playing well, but Auburn went in there and took 2 out of 3. I think Auburn's won 12 of their last 14 ball games, and really nobody picked Auburn to have a great ball club this year. So they've got a new coach in Sonny Galloway. We do have a number of new coaches in the league over the last 2 or 3 years.
We do, and I think that really just goes to the importance of baseball in our league. People care. You know, people ask me all the time, Jim, what's the difference between when you played and now? And I said, I think it's fair to say there were teams in the SEC when I played many years ago that just didn't really care as much. And now everybody cares. Everybody in the league cares about baseball, and I think we're seeing the result of that now.
We're going to play an Arkansas ball club this week. The Razorbacks they're coming off a weekend where they needed to win an SEC series. They did against Alabama, and they've been sort of a nemesis for us. I think it's been 5 or 6 years since we won a series against Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas has had great success against everybody, and I think, you know, when we played Vanderbilt this weekend, we didn't play well against Vanderbilt last year, and I feel like our kids really wanted, there's a sense of urgency, and I think they feel that way about Arkansas too. I don't think we've played our best baseball against Arkansas.
So Mississippi State and Arkansas, the Razorbacks are a team who pitch it well. There you'll see Jalen Beeks, who has been their first guy in the rotation, and Brian Anderson, one of the top hitters on that ball club. But they're a team that can pitch, and they can also have a little offense.
They can. They're really athletic. They run, but their pitching numbers are just ridiculous. You know, Beeks has been really good, and from top to bottom, they can really pitch, really defend. Great test for us this weekend.
And the one thing about the weekend that I think everybody looks forward to around the Mississippi State program, and you mentioned with Vanderbilt in this past week, we had nice weather on Friday and Saturday. We had big crowds for those ball games. Great atmosphere at the stadium. It looks like the weather's going to be pretty good this weekend. We expect the same for Arkansas.
We'd love to have a big crowd. I tell you, it was an amazing, all the comments from the Vanderbilt people about this is the best atmosphere that they've ever experienced. Pretty powerful when you're coming from a club like Vanderbilt who's played at the highest levels of college baseball.
So Mississippi State, 6:30 on Friday night. They will have a ball game on Saturday at 2 and Sunday at 1:30 at Duty Noble Field. And we'll be back next week with all the highlights of Mississippi State, Arkansas baseball on the John Cohen Show.